15 years, $765 million. Juan Soto is a New York Met. Finally, we can get on with our lives. Thank goodness we have an answer in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. This is our instant reaction. Needed Yankee fan Peter on here. I know you're pissed. I lay out a lot of my thoughts on Monday's Just Baseball show, so that's kind of your teaser to go listen to that. It's at the outset, but I'll summarize them real quick, and then I'll just kind of give the floor to you and see what you're thinking. This is objectively the overpay of all overpays. Like, it is an absurd overpay. You're paying probably 40%. I think Aram threw out 40% above market value. Like, it is a ridiculous amount of money to give to somebody that isn't Shohei Ohtani. Um, it was the price for Juan Soto's services. There were a whole bunch of wrinkles to Juan Soto and him hitting free agency when he did and how good he was in his 6 years of contractual control before becoming a free agent that made him worthy, quote unquote, of getting the largest deal in the history of professional sports. But this is a league average defender in a corner outfield spot that is tracking to be Ted Williams. But is Ted Williams worth $765 million? I have no idea. Yankees offered 16 for 760, and Juan Soto wanted 15 for 765. That's $51 million a year for the next 15 years. Yankee fan Peter Apple, your thoughts?
Largest contract in sports history. Not MLB history, sports history.
Yeah.
Largest contract before that, Shohei Ohtani, 700 million. He can pitch and he can hit, and 680 million of it was deferred. So if the question you're asking is he worth the money? You're right. Right? He's
No,
not worth
he's
the
not.
money, but no Mets fan on the planet gives a shit at all. They are popping their champagne. They're running around Queens. They're ready to throw a parade, and good for them. You earned it. Steve Cohen came here and he said that he was going to spend big money, and he did. And is Juan Soto worth $765 million?
No.
No.
Big
But
fat
here's
no.
okay, but who cares? Like, it doesn't matter because he got it, and two teams bid for him, and the Yankees lost. So, yes, on one hand, can I think to myself, okay, we didn't get Juan Soto, which means if we have $760 million to spend, right? I'm talking as if I am a Yankee fan, not as
Yeah.
if I am.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go spend it on Max Fried, Corbin Burns, Christian Walker, Teoscar Hernandez, Anthony Santander. Great. But it isn't Juan Soto. And I also felt that this one hurt a little bit more because it felt symbolic in a way, and Mets
Yeah.
fans are just going to eat this up. And I hate that I'm saying it, but I'm saying what I feel. The Mets, they didn't get to the World Series, but they took the Dodgers to more games. And now they get Juan Soto, and Juan Soto was on the Yankees, and we lost in five to the Dodgers. The Mets have also done a really good job with development when it comes to their starting pitchers, right? They just signed Clay Holmes, right? They brought in a couple other guys, but even last year, Sean Manaea, Luis Severino, David Peterson, I mean, the list goes on. He's probably intrigued by that. The farm system looks pretty good. You clearly have an owner that will spend as much money as humanly possible. You're a great team. You go get to play with Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
It makes all the sense in the world. It's just pretty crushing knowing the Yankees did offer 16 for 760 and he chose the extra 5 million for the Mets.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was just because the Mets offered him more money. I think he saw that team with he probably thinks they have a better future than the
So
Yankees do. So there's a lot of ways that this crushes me, but the baseball person in me can be okay and say $765 million for Juan Soto, that's clearly not worth it. Remember when we were talking a few years ago, it's like, do you think he could get 500? And I think you probably said, no, that's way too much. I mean, look at where we are now. This is insane.
what did he say no to? 440 from the Nats?
440, 15 years, 440 when he was 22 years old with the Nationals. I mean, this guy's got a set of nuts on him. Give him
Yeah,
that.
and yeah, credit to Scott Boras. I think a lot of people are going to give Scott Boras flowers for this, but I think I could have gotten Juan Soto $700 million in this free agent cycle. So, what I will say is Yeah, it's awesome that the Mets have created another team that is at least willing to match the superpowers of the LA Dodgers. Like, if the Dodgers were alone and they were on this island of massive spending and they were deferring all this money and they were the only team that was pursuing the big fish because they could and they could sell these guys on deferring some money but also could take on the payroll. If they were the only team in baseball that could do that and was doing that, it wouldn't be fun. And that would be the start of ruining the sport, quote unquote. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, the Dodgers are ruining the sport. The Mets are in that bucket as well and allow them to introduce themselves with the Juan Soto contract. So I think what they have proven is they can be a second Death Star in this galaxy. Like, that's important for baseball. I think the other thing that's important is that you see how deeply wrong this is. Like, we're going to see another 26-year-old hit the open market that's really good. How old's Vladdy going to be when he hits the open market?
I don't know. I'm not.
26. How
Yeah.
much is Vladdy going to get? Is Vladdy going to get $500 million now? He's a first baseman. Like, again, we're due for a correction at some point because this is so egregious. And if you're listening to this after the Monday show, I'm sorry, you're going to hear the same point from me. Shohei Ohtani should be alone on this island of $700 million. Juan Soto cleared him by $65 million. Juan Soto is one of the best hitters that we've seen in this generation. And he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's going to be wearing a Mets hat in the Hall of Fame. You sign up for that. You sign up for him to be an all time great hitter. But what he isn't is a global superstar that captures the attention of an entire continent for an entire decade and is a top three hitter in Major League Baseball and could be a Cy Young contender in Major League Baseball and have a brand that transcends baseball. Juan Soto is one of the best players in Major League Baseball. He's not half of what Ohtani is when you equate or when you account for on field and off field. What Ohtani is the only thing that could be worth $700 million in baseball. I firmly believe that. And now that's changed. And I think that's not good. So how do we correct? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think I don't. It's not going to correct. And like, do you think this is a bad thing for the sport? Is that where you're coming at this from?
I think it sucks. I think we're gonna hit a point. Parking at the Intuit Dome in LA, the new home of the Clippers. Parking at the Intuit Dome is $80 for general parking.
Hmm.
Like, ticket prices for everything. Getting the door price for that Notre Dame
Mm.
Indiana college football playoff game is $1,000.
Yeah.
We're going to hit a point where owners see that they need to jack up the price on everything because they can't put a competitive team together if they're not offering these unprecedented contracts.
Yeah. And I see definitely where you're saying there because, a large portion of the Dodgers fan base didn't really want Juan Soto. Just go look at the social media reactions, and even I have an enormous group of friends at home. They're all Dodger fans. Like, of course, they wanted Juan Soto, but
Everybody
what?
wants one of the
Yeah,
best players in all of baseball.
of course. But they know that if they spend 770 million, what it might have taken to get Juan Soto, they know they'll probably never go to another Dodgers home game again because to sit in the nosebleeds, it's going to be $400. And Steve Cohen, of course, they're going to have to raise tickets at Citi Field. They're going to have to raise, beer prices. They're going to have to do all these things. But here's the thing. If I am a Mets fan listening to this right now, I'm probably upset at how we're talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. And
Because
like,
what,
I'm okay making a couple enemies here because
yeah,
I'm not saying it's a surefire thing that beer prices are going to go up. I'm just saying this is too much money to give one guy on a 26-man roster.
I will speak from what I would feel if we spent 760 million. I would be yelling at you on this show, Jack,
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. Doesn't
I
matter.
I know.
Juan Soto's a Yankee. And they're saying the same thing. And Mets fans, you should be over the moon happy. You got what I think is the closest thing to a perfect hitter in Major League Baseball. You got him from his age 26 season to his age 41 season. And when Jack said he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame with a Mets hat on, I almost just cried on this show. So just so you know, this should be one of the greatest days of your life. What Jack is referencing is more of a, he's not thinking about my fandom or
No, I'm
your
thinking
fandom
of the
when you're
ripple
listening.
effect through
Yes.
baseball because I have no allegiance. You have a
Yes.
burning allegiance that started when you were a baby to
Yes.
one of the teams that was bidding for Juan Soto, and your team lost, and you're pissed.
Yes. Yeah, I am pissed. But yeah, all your points are making are almost kind of making me feel better because you're right. It's not worth the money, but at the end of the day, most of the free agents the Mets sign, you go on social media or you even talk to any Mets fans, I mean, they don't care. They know it's Steve Cohen. They know he's worth
Yeah,
$21
well, and
billion.
the ultimate trump card is not my money; it's his money.
Exactly. And so I get that from their perspective. I'd be saying the same thing. Um, but they got Juan Soto.
No, I
I mean, they
we
got Juan Soto. They got Juan Soto. And then you put Juan Soto on that team, which just took the Dodgers to 6 games. You have Dave Stearns, who comes over from the Brewers, who I think is one of the smartest GMs in baseball.
yeah
So you have the richest owner in baseball. You have arguably the smartest GM. You have a great developmental system, clearly. You already had a team that went toe to toe with the Dodgers. Maybe not toe to toe because they, at that time, were just so much better than everybody else. But now you add Juan Soto. And
no
Juan Soto was a big reason the Yankees even made the World Series. So what Mets fans can say is, yes, our ticket prices are going to be more expensive. The beers are going to be more expensive. I'll probably have to watch more games at home. But at home, they know that for the next 15 years,
they have a shot.
they have a shot to win the World Series every single year.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Because it's not just, oh, we get Juan Soto and for all of Juan Soto's career, it's the foundation that they are building. And I
yes,
think that's what attracted Juan Soto besides just the money, right? Because if it's 16,760, 15,765, and he liked the Yankees better, he felt that they had a better future, where do you think he's going? He's going
right.
to the Yankees, but he chose the Mets. And that's the hardest thing to really stomach as a Yankee fan because our quote unquote little brother ain't so little anymore,
Yeah,
right? Ain't so freaking little anymore. I'm not calling us the little brother yet. You will not get that out
no,
of me, Mets
ever.
fans. I'm looking straight at the camera. You're not getting that out of me,
No,
but damn it, it doesn't feel good right now.
I
So,
understand. And you mentioned the guys upstairs. You mentioned that you have the richest owner in Major League Baseball. You mentioned that I think surely have a top five lead baseball executive in Major League Baseball in
as
David
good as it
Stearns.
gets.
You have a manager that is clearly on the up and up in Carlos Mendoza. And then when you
Yeah.
look at on-field stuff, Mark Vientos' breakout should be awesome, and that curbs any negative sentiment I have towards Brett Beatty's, kind of bust my
We'll see
bust
though.
like
It's early. They
identity.
could still trade him.
It
They
is,
can do a
yeah.
lot of things.
Francisco Lindor was the MVP runner-up. Francisco Alvarez, I firmly believe, is a top five catcher in baseball in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's
On
probably pretty
field,
accurate.
you could very well be entering the golden age of Mets baseball. I can't say that for certain because I greatly enjoyed some of the David Wright, Jose Reyes years, and they won a World Series several times. Doc Gooden was on that team. Darryl Strawberry was on these teams. Like they've had some good Mets years. You can see the vision of the next great era of Mets baseball. And this is one of those nights that you're going to remember forever if you're a Mets fan. And
Yeah.
I love that it kicked off the winter meetings. Um, good for you. You got a future Hall of Famer and possibly like Ted freaking Williams on your
Yeah.
team. And that's awesome. But solace for the rest of baseball. I mean, dude, it's too much money for one player. And any other situation, I mentioned, like, I could absolutely see the Yankees winning the bidding war, and then in a year, Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman are crying poor, saying, "Yeah, we can't afford to take on any other star players because we're paying Judge this, and we're paying Soto this, and we're paying Cole this, and we're paying Rodon this." Like, they eat up the payroll. The Mets, I don't think are going to have that problem, but $51 million a year on the payroll for the next 15 years is a ludicrous, asinine number.
And here's another thing that I'm struggling with. I have nobody to be mad at. We just
Who you
lost.
mad at, dude? I
No, that's what
said
I'm
to you
saying. I
guys,
got
yeah.
I
I
got
said to
nothing to
you
be
guys,
mad at.
Hal Steinbrenner should be sleeping 10 hours of
Yeah.
guilt-free slumber.
He offered $760 million. He is worth less than the Guardians owner. He put it all out there. He said, we're going to give you so much money that you can't even breathe. 760. And you know what? Juan Soto said no. So our owner was there. Brian Cashman was clearly there in the meetings. They're both going for it. They gave him everything that they could. What are you going to offer him? 800 million?
Yep.
Like it's at some point it's like, hey, this is our final offer. We're
Yep.
giving you 16 years at 760. You decide. This wasn't the ninth year for Aaron Judge at 360, right? This wasn't that. This was double that.
Yeah.
Double. Now I know he's younger. And so I even made it into TikTok. I was like, is he worth the money? I was like, I don't know. No.
No,
No,
no.
no,
I
no
don't think it's, I
athlete.
don't know. Nobody's worth that money.
No athlete's worth the money. Like no athlete's worth the money. It is what it is. Like, I don't know if Michael Jordan at his peak was worth this. I don't know if LeBron at his peak was worth this. Otani isn't even worth this.
I
And
mean,
Otani does both.
he probably is worth it, and LeBron is probably worth it. But what I'm saying is,
Are they?
Soto's, yes, I
Are they
think
worth
so.
$765 million?
If Shohei Ohtani pulled in $100 million for the LA Dodgers in 2024, then Shohei Ohtani is worth $100 million a year. Like that's just how the cookie crumbles with
Did he
that kind
pull
of
in
thing.
$100 million for the Dodgers this year?
AJ
I mean, I
Pierzynski
don't know.
said 120. Like I'm telling you, but something about Ohtani that transcends baseball.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he's got an
LeBron
island.
transcends basketball. Juan Soto is one of the best players in Major League Baseball. He is not close to the societal impact that Shohei Ohtani is at and that LeBron James is at. You paid Juan Soto like LeBron and Ohtani, and I think that's a mistake. And that's my final thought.
Can we just take a step back for a second? You're 26, I'm 27. Same age right now, basically.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being Juan Soto and inking this
No,
as
pretty
at
good.
our
Did you
age.
see did you see Donovan Mitchell got him on FaceTime like 5 minutes after?
Kidding me?
It was hilarious. Like he just FaceTimed him and Soto was shirtless, like smiling.
He chose the Mets. And
Chose the Mets.
it's not like, oh, why would he choose the Mets? That's the tough part. I totally get why he chose the Mets.
Totally get it.
I totally get it. And I have nobody to be mad at. We just lost. Just like we just lost the World Series. It's been a tough month for me, but Mets fans, congratulations. You did it.
Yep.
You did it. Congratulations.
Full episode coming out in a matter of hours. We just wanted to get our Juan Soto instant reaction out of the way. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same old schedule. Peter will talk to you on the Wednesday show. It's Aram and I on Monday's show. This was our Soto instant reaction. Again, 15 years, $765 million for the New York Mets.
And with that, thank you, everybody.